Guruve Namaha, Shri Guruve Namaha, Shri Guruve Namaha. Acharya Mam Vijaniyan Navamanyeta Karichit Namartya Buddhya Suyeta Sarvadeva Mayo Guru. हे अकारण करुणा पतित पावन श्री कृष्ण, तुमसे विमुख होने के कारण अनादिकाल से हमने अनंत अनंत दुख पाए एवं पा रहे हैं। पाप करते करते अंतःकरण इतना मलिन हो चुका है कि रसिकों द्वारा यह जान भी अपनी भुजाओं के पसारे हमारे प्रतीक्षा कर रहे हो। अपनी वात्सल्यमयी दृष्टि से हमारे प्रतीक्षा कर रहे हो, तुम्हारे शरण में नहीं आ पाता। O my divine beloved, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, causelessly merciful Sri Krishna, having ignored you since time immemorial, I have been suffering due to sins committed lifetime after lifetime. My mind have become so polluted, even though your saints are telling me you're waiting for me with arms outstretched to embrace me, with a divine life to grace me. Still, I fail to surrender to you completely. All glories to Sri Radhesham. All glories to all saints and sages, teachers of Sanatana Dharma, the principles of righteous conduct. All glories to the Devas. All glories unto all aspiring souls. Thank you for joining me. On the subject of who am I and who is mine, the human being is a combination of matter and spirit, life and lifeless. The body is lifeless. It's only due to the fact that you and I, the soul, the spiritual being, is right now residing in the body. It's why the body seems to be alive. But the body is a lifeless object, made up of 5 elements. The same 5 elements that make up the entire universe. Earth, water, fire, air, and space, ether. These 5 elements are lifeless. This table, I can hit it even with a hammer and it will not cry out because it's lifeless. The water is lifeless. The fire is lifeless. And the human body is also lifeless. It's the soul that is speaking to you, using the body as a medium. So, all human beings, all creatures in this world is a combination of matter and spirit. Life and what is lifeless. And we can see clearly the body is mine. I never say I body because the body is different from I who reside in the body. It is why I say my body. I never say I house. I say my house because the house and who I am are separate, different. And we speak in these two ways. I say, I am going, I am doing, I am hearing. Or I say, my wife, my house, my car, my business, my bank account. These two terms are constantly being used by us in reference to our own life. So there is a difference between who I am and who is mine. It is why I say my hand, my ears, my eyes. And in the more subtle state, the internal spiritual being within is made up of a subtle body called Sukshma Sharir that you don't see with these eyes. The internal body is a subtle body that is etheric. It is a combination of 5 ears, Prana, Pan, Vayan, Saman, Udan, Vayan. These 5 ears control the physical body. You can't do anything without the presence of air. And this subtle body is made up of these 5 ears, your 5 subtle senses, your mind, your intellect, and your ego. Beyond this subtle body, there is a body that is called the causal body, which is made up of countless lives of stored information. You and I have lived countless lives, and just like a computer, all your information is stored on a chip, and you can retrieve it as you desire. And in the same way, within us, there's a causal body that has a storehouse of countless lives of actions that we've performed that in this present life have become tendencies. It's why we like certain colors. It's why some people are more or less religious. It's why some people have a taste for this activity, a taste for that activity. It all depends on our tendencies which we have acquired from countless lives and which are stored as a karmic account. It's called Sanchit Karmas, which we are experiencing today. A portion of those activities performed in previous lives, we are today experiencing it as Parabdha, which means destined experiences. Good and bad experiences everyone will have according to the good and bad that they have done in the past lives. And the good and bad that you're doing right now is called Kriyaman Karmas, the actions that will bear fruit in the future, in your future lives. So this is called the causal body. So we the soul, the individual I, the soul, is living in 3 bodies. The physical body is called Stula Sharir, the subtle body, Shukshma Sharir, and the causal body. But the soul is different from all of these. These are all you can call mind. That's why I say my mind. I never say I mind, even though you don't see the mind. So who I am and who is mine should be understood. There's a confusion in life. Most people, considering themselves to be the body, are hardly conscious of the fact that they're a spiritual being residing in this lifeless body. life goes on even in the dream state. You can experience, the body is laying in bed, and in a dream body you're outside and experiencing life. You're seeing, you're hearing, you're feeling. Sometimes you're engaging in happy moments with people. Sometimes you and someone have a problem. Someone is beating you or you're beating someone. All of these experiences go on in the dream state. And while you're in that dream state, it is as real to you as it is right now in your awakened state. Until you're awakened, you continue to experience that dream state as if it's a fact. Until when you become awakened, then you realize, oh, it's a dream. In the same way, if you continue to think yourself to be this body, then you are living in a state of ignorance. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, Uddhav asked Sri Krishna, who is the greatest fool? And Sri Krishna answered, Murko dehat deham buddhi. The one who have considered himself to be the body is the greatest fool. So we need to understand the difference between ourselves and the body. Only then you can begin to know what is your real interest. Now, with this introduction to who you are, which is the soul, you should begin to live for the sake of the soul. And to live in the awareness of being the soul, you have to purify your mind, which begins with following some regulative principles, such as no meat eating, no gambling, no illicit sexual activities, and no intoxication. And the fifth is, you should not be greedy for wealth. These 5 things keep you in a state of delusion, thinking yourself to be the body. The desires of this world keeps you in the delusion that you're the body. You need food, shelter, and clothing to maintain a healthy body, so you can utilize this body to attain the true goal of this life, which is to attain a divine body. God wants to give you a body just like His own. He says, Anta kalecha mameva smaran mukva kalevaram yapratisa madbhavam yati nasyatra samseha. In 8.5 of the Gita, Sri Krishna promises, listen, the one who leaves his body at the time of death, remembering me alone, attached to me alone, attains my state. Now what is God's state? God lives in a divine body that is ever youthful. And He is billions of years, trillions of years old already, but He's always sweet 16. He's completely omniscient, means He knows past, present, and future. He lives in each soul's heart, and He knows the karmic account of each soul, and He makes a decision of what is an appropriate recompense for each soul's activity, their merits, their demerits. He guides their future lives' existences. He does all of this for trillions of living entities. He is the most beautiful. He is ever youthful. All of the things that we desire and aspire to have, with the hope of them making us happy, God can give you. But you have to understand the difference between yourself and your body, and stop identifying as the body, and recognize that the body is mine and not I. We sometimes are aware of this fact. You enter a funeral, the person is laying there and everyone is viewing, and the family members are crying, oh, he's gone, oh, I'm left all alone and he's gone. Why are they saying he's gone? And there is the body laying right there with hands and feet and eyes and ears and everything is there, but the truth is spoken at that time. the real person, the life, the conscious entity that resided in that lifeless body is gone. We are eternal because we are a part of God. And we have existed since God has existed, which is beginningless. So my dear aspiring soul, if you want to experience God, you have to become pure of heart. Now the first set of practices we need to do is give up meat eating, which is called himsa. We have to practice the opposite of that. Himsa means violence. We need to practice ahimsa, which means non-violence. And non-violence begins by nourishing yourself without causing pain. And if you eat meat, then you have caused pain to nourish yourself, and you don't need to. Vegetarianism is a very practical diet, and it's first-class fuel. All herbivores, they eat the chlorophyll that the sun makes, and so you're eating direct sunlight energy converted into food energy. Now if you eat animals, then that's a second-grade quality of fuel for the body, because the animal ate the vegetables and then you're eating the animals. So it's like a second-grade fuel. Vegetables are first-grade fuel because it's direct sunlight converted into food energy. So it's pure, and you have all nutritions that is required for the body in fruits, vegetables, seeds, grains. You don't need to eat flesh. And also, the flesh becomes impregnated with fear, anger, hate, desire for revenge when you kill the animal. And that those qualities that are negative, now you're ingesting it and becomes part of your mindset. That's why most people live in fear, hate, anger, desire for revenge themselves, because of what they're eating. So the first thing we need to do is practice ahimsa, non-violence. The second thing we need to do is practice satya, to be truthful. And it's easy to be truthful. If you're not greedy, if you're not lusty, then it's easy to be truthful. You don't have reasons to lie when you're not doing anything wrong. We only lie because we're doing something wrong. We're hiding something. It's why we're lying. And we're afraid of embarrassment. It's why we're lying. So if you don't do wrong things, you have no reason to be a liar. And life becomes very easy, because a truthful person don't have to practice remembering. You don't need to. The truth will stand on its own ground. But if you're a liar, you will have to practice the remembering the stories you're telling. So the second practice you must diligently follow is truthfulness. The third thing is asteya. You should not steal. You should not be covetous. Be happy with your lot. Be grateful with your lot. And since you have all that you need, why are you concerning yourself with what others have? This is what is called to covet. You shouldn't practice covetousness. Practice gratitude for what God has given you. And live with an attitude of gratitude. You'll be happy this way. The fourth thing you should practice is sexual purity. It's called brahmacharya, which means if you're married, be satisfied with your wife. Be satisfied with your husband. Don't step outside of marriage, because sex is not something to play around with. Children are born from it, and there are many unwanted children right now. Parents have split up because they didn't sanctify their marriage. They're having children out of wedlock. They're having children just because sex is something they're playing around with. They're moving from partner to partner. And some are even sick mentally. They are now in a state of mental degradation in which they're gender confused. They want the men with men and women with men, and this is a kind of a mental disease, like any other mental disease. You're gender confused. It means there's something wrong up in your mind. So you can't fool around with sex. Sex is blessed by God. In the Gita, Sri Krishna says, I am the sexual desire within man, but not in conflict with scriptural injunctions. So God has created this for the future generations, that it should be within a marriage setting. The fifth practice is called aparigraha. Aparigraha means that you should not consider anything related to your body as my own. The only thing that you can consider my own is God. Because God is with you right now, living with you in this body. He has been with you before you were conceived in your mother's womb. And He will be with you when the death of this body occurs. So God is always omnipresent with you. He has never been separated from you. So you have to understand that nothing belongs to me except God. Everything related to the body that you call my own will be left here when you leave this body, isn't it? And so therefore you should start practicing right now that everything belongs to God. He has lent it to me. In fact, even the body He has lent it to you. And therefore everything related to the body, you should understand it's also borrowed. It's not yours. So use it wisely. Use it for a good purpose, a godly purpose, to be of service to mankind. Use it for goodness sake. And remember fully who it belonged to. This way you don't have the ego of my own. And this is especially so for those who have a lot of wealth or position in society. They start getting carried away with either position in society, their wealth. They start identifying, like a rich man can hardly forget he's a rich man. The president cannot forget he is the president. So these encourage pride in us. But so you will have to fight against the tendency to be proud by always remembering it is not my own. God has given me this position, He has given me this body, He has given me this wealth, and it's really His property. I'm grateful for it, and I'm never going to have the feeling it's mine. This is called aparigraha. One should also practice, this is the sixth principle that one should practice, sucha, which means cleanliness. One should bathe as often as they can, especially when you go to the toilet and you pass stool, you should bathe. It's very healthy for you. Not wiping yourself and leaving track marks. You should wash yourself at least. It's very healthy to wash yourself. And not only keeping the physical body healthy, but keeping the mind healthy. by what you're thinking, what you're desiring. So healthy body, healthy mind. This is called sucha. And what is making our mind unhealthy is the unwanted, many desires that we have. We have desires of more than we need, and it's causing us to be greedy, and it's causing us to be angry. When we get what we want more, and when we don't get what we want, we get angry. That's why there's conflict between husband and wife, especially those who are closest to you can have regular conflict because both people are in the throes of always wanting. And when their expectation is not fulfilled, then they get angry. So as much as you can, try to not want and not expect and not depend on anyone. Minimize wanting, expectation, and dependence on anyone as much as you can. You know, everyone is caught in this. And sometimes the people who are in the biggest positions in society and they're most famous, and even the president, look how many people he depends on. So this is all stealing your mind, your peace of mind. And if you can't have peace of mind, you can't be stable. You can't have mental stability if your mind is not peaceful. And you can't have emotional intelligence if your mind is not stable. You need to develop emotional intelligence, which comes from the less you want of the world, the less you will expect, and therefore then there is no misery that comes from an expectation that is not fulfilled. And the less you depend on people is the less that you will expect from people. And this way what I'm telling you is how to maintain and retain your peace of mind, which is conducive to your mental health. So number 7 is contentment. One should practice contentment. The one who's contented right now is happy right now. But if there's some desire in your mind churning away, I want this, then your mind is restless. So practice contentment. Number 8 is that you should practice tapasya, which means simple living. As much as you can, try to be satisfied with the bare essentials. And you, knowing that you're a soul, focus on the purpose of the soul. The purpose of the soul is to attain divinity before you leave this body. Then you will get the lifestyle that the Divine Lord Sri Krishna has. This is his promise. The one who leaves his body at the time of death, remembering him only, attached to him only, desiring him only, attains his state of existence, which is divine existence, not the short-lived body that goes through birth, disease, old age, and death. So my dear aspiring souls, know the difference between who I am and what is mine. So the ninth practice is swadhyaya, which means to achieve this consciousness of mental stability, one should, before they go to sleep every night, go through the day. What wrong have I done today? What greedy thing have I done? What angry thing have I done? What lusty thing have I done? In other words, take stock of your daily life's activities. Take stock. Swadhyaya. Be introspective. And the 10th practice is called Ishwar Pranidhan. This practice is that you should be always aware of the presence of God with you. You're not alone. We all have the presence of God in us. But how many of us are aware of his presence? This awareness has to be practiced. That we are two. God is with me. Whatever you eat, whatever you do, whatever you give in charity, whatever work you're performing, do it all with the awareness that God is with you, working with you, laboring with you. Thank you very much for joining me. Please do so. In 2 weeks we will have a continuation of this subject. Jai Shri Radhe.
To